Kia ora from Aotearoa, it's Poppy speaking with the current 9th wave energy report, and today we have just gone here into 11 Sun, so we're right at the very top of the day wave here, and it's the day wave which is 2 monkey. It's really important that we understand the nature of magic during this, so I shall go into that during here. But here, this 9-day phase, this is a gateway of love and pure light, which is open through the sun, which is a portal to the cosmic axis and the heart of Father's sky. So many have missed the connection that the Father Source Creator is the seeder of daily cosmic light energies where we may grow and evolve by. And this is a be you to full opportunity to strengthen our connection with this divine source of creation. So he sources us with the seed codes of pure love and pure light, and there's nothing new age about this. It is an ancient and original phenomena. It was just covered over with psychological operations, but these veils of illusion are clearing nicely through some humans. Yeah, so I've taken a whole bunch of notes. I'm going to go through everything that I really feel is really important for this time. There will be a dark moon in 3 Serpent that will be activating divine adjustment, alignment for justice with loving passion. So this is all very connected to time and the time waves. So I want to actually really, when we're looking at magic and the way that it is, it really do have to have an awareness on how it happens and just how deep it's run, how much harm it does, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to get ourselves clear of it. Okay, so we're at a time where a lot of this magic is being directed at humanity, and we have to find our pure and innocent way to transcend it all, and we really do have to have awareness. So this is a quote which is from Bernard Gunther. Him and his wife, they study a lot of psychological processes, and they help a lot of people to discover themselves and move through. So what he's got here: you cannot protect yourself from something you're not aware of. So having a basic understanding of how these occult forces work is so important. You don't need to become a scholar or do all the research I've done, but having a basic understanding, like when you drive a car or cross the street, you know the basic traffic rules so you don't get hit. People, in New Age especially, don't want to get into these topics because they believe that if they focus on these negative forces, they will attract them. But ignorance is not a defense. All the occult and esoteric teachings talk about how you cannot defend yourself from something you're not aware of. Pure innocence, or just being a good person, is also not a defense. In fact, that's also a distortion of the law of attraction. Learning about these topics doesn't mean that you then attract negative entities. The opposite can be true as well. Opposites attract, and these entities are actually most often drawn to people who have a strong light and innocence and are actually here with a higher mission profile. So everything needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you very much, Bernard Gunther, for those words of wisdom in all that you study. Because I, just over a year ago, I got into real trouble. I was actually in denial about so much had happened, and the satanic ritual abuse and the memories. I had no way for them to come up. They were all stuck there. I had a really life-threatening thing that happened that actually put me firmly into looking at all of this that was behind it. I was trying to get on a little bit like a New Age person, like just only creating the positive, but I had to go and look at all of this and get a really good honest look at what goes on and the things I have discovered I now share with everybody, because when we know these things and we know how the magic is done, then we can also defend ourselves and stand up strong and know who we are in the midst of it all and come into our authenticity. Thank you, Bernard Gunther, again. So while we give focus and intention to create, we also deconstruct what inhibits the creation. Okay, so there's a lot going on with the sun at this time. It's an amazing window to do with the sun. We've got all the big sunspots have been turning around again, which means there's the high chances of the big X flares, which could do a lot. The sun is sentient, it knows there's things going on. Yes, there's all kinds of plans and all sorts of things that go on, but we just turn to our meditation, we follow our intuition and keep things simple. So there is Nibiru is out there, it's been spotted, it's been seen, it seems to have something to do with the extra flaring of the sun, quite possibly. I have seen it in my meditations as coming to clear away the matrix illusion. So I am very excited about its presence. Some wonderful things could be coming up with that. Remember, the pure magic of the love and the unconditional light of the sun rides far above the Wetiko and the Saturnian trapping that is down here. And that is the magic that is down here, which is strongly rooted in Draco-Reptilian magic, which is to do with word spells and sentences and legislation everywhere that you go. So, yes, and so much is about Masonic psyop. So during this whole era of the sixth wave, as we've been traveling through and things developed, it all started with Sumerian tablet type stuff, and then there was the Greek god systems, and then we had the zodiac systems that came in, we've had tarot, and it's all riddled with kind of Masonic geometry and patternings, or that these were actually discovered. They have their whole programming, which is Saturnian programming, which comes very much from the planet Saturn, which seems to be what this false time matrix is really run from. Such a shame. And this is all very much, like that energy is about conditions and terms and sentences and spells, definitions, being categorized, analyzed, labeled, objectified. And when we are labeled objectified, they have power over us if we cannot get ourselves free from that and understand the magic ourselves. And it's not hard to do. We can find it in pure meditation awareness, by spending time seeking, asking, questioning. Anybody can do that. Over all of these time, we've had an amazing amount of religions, philosophers. There's people, Newton, Da Vinci, Einstein, Plato, all connected to sort of like Masonic type orders, all similar. They are all connected around the whole globe. So if there's shadow government that is this whole global network, it's that has still been holding that in, because they also understand the geometry and the patterning of the satanic symbology, which is the false time based on the flower of life, which keeps people in 3D and lower fourth dimensional. Okay, and out of Saturn came Cronus, the god that ate its children, and has that knife, that sacrificial knife, which was used in a blood ritual that I witnessed when I saw that knife cut a baby out of a woman, and her spirit, her terrorized spirit, was put into me, which later which over my life became the saboteur, where I sabotaged myself, my relationships. I've even sabotaged my mind work until that was dealt with and that I could actually find that. And this is the nature of demonology. This is the black magic. So we need to understand that these things do happen. What has happened to people in satanic ritual is at the bottom of everything and under everything, including the war. And a lot of the SRA people, we have the keys of how we get out of this matrix, because it all happened directly to us. And we are resolving that as we resolve our lives and we heal, because the body remembers, the body knows, the body keeps score, the feelings come up, and we have to undo that negative magic and cursing and everything that was done on us, so that we may no longer be objectified, a sacrifice, and that we can come and we can banish this shit once and for all and rebuke it all, so that it has no hold over us and others. Okay, I get very passionate about that. But, you know, this whole reality of keeping us in this flattened plan where ascension cannot happen, you're spiraling round and around and around on a disc type of plane, because the connection to the Heavenly Father, to the real source creator, has been blocked because of a Luciferian agenda which has usurped nature and the earth. Okay, so King's birthday is coming. This is a big ritual date. There'll be all sorts of children's blood will be spilled. It'll all be fueling the war. It's all underneath everything. We have to know and be aware of this magic so that it can be cleared and it no longer has a hold, and children are not suffering, and people like me are not left fucking without in these isolated places because of the curse holds that still radically trying to release. So our consciousness rises to exist in higher dimensions where love, truth, freedom and honor and respect and allowing are, and where children won't be interfered with. Okay, so the whole Masonic thing, they talk about the Grand Architect, and, you know, we have a Prime Minister of this country. They have a beehive with a hive mind and the psyops and everything. It's just riddled with Satanism, this area, and we need to understand that all parliament, all government, all court systems are part of the satanic agenda. Satanism is black magic spell casting in the form of legislation, giving power due to rituals performed and involving the innocent blood of children and the terrorizing hold of them. How do you think they keep this legislation in place and can continue to do the most terrible, heinous things? They do it because of the power of their blood magic. And this is what's under the war. Instead of going out and protesting on the streets, people might even be able to do things when they realise what is under here. At the moment, maybe it's all the best that they can do is protest on the streets, say, hey, we've got a war, we're protesting. But what does that do? Okay, why don't we start addressing that, like organising to stop paedophilia and Satanism in churches, having people that come in and into child protective services, and I know people are doing that in this country, and I'm very grateful to them for doing that. They are doing incredibly wonderful work. But we could look after and support the survivors and help them recover. We can look out for the children. We can make sure that this Satanism and this paedophilia is stopped. But first of all, you have to know that it's actually happening more than you realise it. Now, you know, there's a big grasp for our consciousness. I've been looking at Terence Howard, and I am seeing this as a major psyop. Now, why am I seeing it as a major psyop? One thing he said, which really, really got me, and was probably one of the truer things he said: whoever controls the flower of life controls the universe. That's what they like to think in this dimension, in this realm, and they have been doing a really bloody good job of it. and bloody. Blood is the word. So, okay, what do we got? He's an actor in Walt Disney, in the Disney, working for Disney or whatever. His success is to do with that. He's been co-opted. It's absolutely compelling what he's saying, but I can see he has MK Ultra programming, and an altar is running and speaking through him. I know these things because these things have happened to me, and I can see the patterns. I can see how it happens. 1 times 1 equaling 2. This is about creating new belief. It's about harnessing of consciousness. It's about him using an altar or a part, because I can probably almost guarantee that this poor man has been used, and he has given away a large part of his soul, all of his soul, so he can become very successful and very rich, because this is what happens. Okay, so now not only that, but they make all these things viral. Okay, so this interview with Joe Rogan, of course that's at the top of YouTube, it's at the top of every list, so everyone will see this message and everyone will buy, and they want as many people as they can to buy into this new consciousness, because actually what I see is it's leading things right back to Satanism, with all the stuff that they had to do with the planet Saturn and Satan in that. It just stood out to me quite strongly. I see it too, where suddenly this big trending that goes on, viral trending. They do viral trending because they want people all to be thinking the same things, because when they do, that's predictive programming and you get a result. What about if we all just took care of our own areas, like we used to do when we weren't all connected by webs and things like that, and then we would actually be contributing to life from our authentic place. Then we would actually have balance and harmony. Another example of the predictive programming stuff that I've really observed over time is like The Simpsons. Okay, so many things in The Simpsons have happened. Okay, but let's look at it. It came out, decades ago. It was put out in front of children mostly, but adults were always watching it. It became quite a family show. People identified with it because it was about a family. It was about life and humour and laughing at life and all of that. But there was so much programming in there. Cartoons, very basic. You look at a screen, you see yellow and blue people. There's not a lot of visual information on there, but there's a heck of a lot of predictive programming in there. So if you get a large area of consciousness seeing subconsciously a program where a couple of towers get blown up, then a few years later or whatever that happens, is that because our consciousness creates, our consciousness has actually lent to that, and also it would have been done on a blood sacrifice day as a ritual. They would have used our consciousness for this anyway. And also, the whole idea of what realm are people existing in, because when we look at tarot cards and we look at astrology and we look at the systems that are in place and the Gregorian calendar, everything is set up around commerce. Now, commerce is Lucifer's domain. So if people are after the money, and if they're after the success, and they have competed and they have had all their comforts met on the top of other people, this is actually Luciferian, and there's nothing. This is not the pure God source that they are connected to manifest everything. Yeah, so, like we have all sorts of popular shows where people are connected up to these timelines, and they will use tarot and all of that, and they will be speaking from timelines that are holding certain psyops in place. I've seen it. The things that really are true are incredibly shadow banned, like what I do. Anyway, so with this beautiful gateway of the sun, this 9-day phase, I'm just sitting in the sun at the moment talking. It's really nice to sit in nature. But anyway, it's really important that we just stay in the awareness of love and truth and that unified field, in our meditation spaces. So we are risen above the artificial time matrix that competes in commerce. and then we will naturally connect with quantum reality and your specific guidance that is perfect for you, for your purpose, for who you are, and the incredible soul that you are shining in this world. And I thank you for that. So much love.